Hello everybody, James with Love My Pups, my breeder supply. So we weaned some puppies here about a week ago. My daughter Chanel had put a video up on those 3 puppies in the process, and she got lots of great comments, good feedback, but she got a few negatives on it. And so I think that's because we probably, how it is, you put a video together and you don't realize all the things, detail that's missing that you really should have put in there. So this is about weaning puppies, and it's about the detail part about weaning puppies. So you've probably already seen the video, you've seen the beautiful puppies, great. Now let's talk about the process itself. So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Certainly smaller breed dogs take longer to wean, leave home at a later date than bigger dogs. So there's a difference in terms of the breed. That dictate, and there's other things that dictate when you start this process. So again, there's not just a simple, here's what you do, it works every time. So for French Bulldogs, our French Bulldogs typically don't leave their new homes till they're 10 weeks old, by which point they are absolutely weaned. Why don't they leave till they're 10 weeks old? Because we want to have a 9-week shot, and we want to have some time for that 9-week shot to make sure there's nothing going on funny, which by the way has never happened, but don't ever want it to happen. So for us, 9 weeks is the mark where we say, okay, time for shots, 10 weeks they can leave. Right, but they've got to have been weaned before that. You can't just give somebody a puppy that's been with mum. That would be awful anxiety for the puppy. So you've got to start this process. So when do you start? Well, for us, it varies by the mother and how she's getting on with her puppies. So there's a number of things that can happen that can push the wean date forward to make it sooner. We never start weaning. First off, you can't wean a puppy that has got teeth, because what we're talking about weaning is we're taking the puppy away from mum and we're transitioning to solid foods over a period of a week or 10 days. So when we say wean, we're not just taking the puppies away from mum and that's it. Mum just leaves the house and goes on about her regular business and doesn't have her puppies anymore. It's a transition, it's a process. We've got to get from them being with mum 24/7 to them being not with mum at all because they're leaving to go to their new homes. And that can start at 4 weeks, and it might start at 6 weeks, and it may not be finished until the dog's 8 or 9 weeks old. Some mums will stay with their babies all the time with no issues at all. Some mums have had enough of it, and so those are the ones that force you into a sooner weaning. So what could cause the mum to have had enough of it? Well, you've not been clipping the nails on the babies. So the babies, when babies feed, they're always doing this on the nipple, on the milk bag. They're doing this because they're getting the milk to come out like this, and they've got nails, and they're scratching the crap out of her. And you can see these red lines on her teats. It's like she's like looking at you like, can you not cut those nails, please? So first off, is make sure that the process is not nasty for mum. Clip those nails on a regular basis and put some Vaseline or some hand cream or some lanolin on her belly and get it all greasy and smooth and feeling good for her. So that's the first reason that she may not be enjoying her puppies. The next one is they start to get teeth, and guess what? Those teeth are on nipples, and that can't be a good feeling. So once they start to get teeth, that's the point that maybe you can start thinking about transition. So another one would be that you've got puppies that are getting milk running out of their noses. They are continuously just feed like crazy. Mum's got really great milk, and you see this milk coming out of their noses. That worries me, because they can aspirate it, they can get pneumonia, and you can lose a puppy over this. Even at 5-6 weeks old, that can happen. So the sooner that you can get those kind of puppies off mum's milk and onto a solid food, the sooner you stop that and you avoid these problems with potential aspiration pneumonia. So that's another good reason. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, you saw the video with Chanel. The whole purpose of this is to get them onto solid food. But you can't just go put kibble out there, take them away from mum and throw them in there with a bowl of kibble and expect them to get after it, because they're likely to ingest some small particle of food. They won't know what to do with it. They probably won't even eat it. So what are you going to do? Well, you can take puppy kibble, you can soak it in hot water or in goat's milk, and you can smush it up with a fork or you can put it in a blender and make you a slurry out of it. So there's nothing in there that's bigger than a piece of rice. I mean, even better is a complete slurry. You could feed them that, or you can go get what you saw in the video with Chanel, which was Royal Canine Starter Puppy Mousse. It comes in a can like catfish, like a cat food can. That works great too. Some people said it's rubbish food, other people said it's wonderful. You make your own minds up on that. I can tell you this, that stuff's expensive, and typically if you're buying expensive food, generally it's good food. I don't think there's a magic formula for exactly what you should be feeding these dogs. Over the years, it doesn't seem to make a huge amount of difference. Other people will tell you that you should be on a raw diet, or this diet, or the paleo diet, whatever. Look, you do your own judgment about what you think is a good food. If you're getting good results, great. But what can you expect? Well, so you take them away from mum. Don't put the food in there with mum, because mum's going to eat all the food up. Separate mum from her babies. Put the mum, what we like to do is either take the mum and throw her outside so she can play outside for a bit, or take the babies away from mum, leave mum in the whelping cage, and put the babies out on the floor with a pie tin, with a pie dish, or one of those bundt cans. So you can buy one specifically for puppies where it's got, it's shaped like profile. It's a bowl that has a center portion like this. This is a side view of it. So if you saw the whole thing, it would look like this with a raised portion in the middle. So the food sits in here and the puppies get in there and they don't get inside it. If you just use a pie dish, is what we used to use, all the puppies will walk through it and get in it, and they'll get it all over themselves, and that's just not really the best thing. So the bundt dish, or this purpose-built puppy feeding dish, I think works great. But what do you feed? So the stuff that we use is called Royal Canine Puppy Starter. Going off the board. Mousse. How do you spell mousse? How do you spell mousse? Something like that. Mousse. Like a mouse with an extra O. Mousse. Puppy mousse. Great stuff. Easy. You don't have to do any preparation. Just take it out of the can, slip it in there, bust it up with a fork. We feed that to our house chihuahua too. So feed them this, and then how long do you feed them for? What's going to happen is that, and put a bowl of water out there, not a bowl of water they can get drowned in, a bowl of water that's got maybe that much water in it. So if they get in it, they're not going to get drowned. So, and then what you're going to have to do is, what we do is they don't know what the heck's going on. So we take the little faces and we push their little face into the food a little bit so they get it on their mouth, and then they start licking it. And then it's like, what is that? And they can look, and then all of a sudden they're like, I like this. And the next thing you know, they're in the food and they're chowing down. So how much do you feed? Well, give them 5-10 minutes of it. If their bellies are getting really bloated, that's enough. Typically what will happen is they'll feed and then they'll have had enough and they'll just wander away from it. And at that point, we then let mum loose, and mum can lick up the rest of it and eat the rest of it up, and maybe lick the babies up. So when you do this transition, the puppy's poop's going to change. And one thing you're probably going to find is mum, who was formerly cleaning them up when they were on her milk, will not do it anymore. You are now on poop patrol. Good luck to you. So you're going to have to clean this up. So one thing that we do is when we are full-time really starting to have done a few days of this and we're starting to get to the transition point, we then go to a 4 foot by 4 foot. And I'm going to do a lousy job of drawing this. 4 foot by 4 foot, it's way too tall. 4 foot by 4 foot wire cage. It's typically called a playpen, and it has, here it is, it has a raised floor in it. So there's a floor in here. There's a floor in here. Terrible drawing, sorry about that. Raised floor that has a raised floor in it. So basically there's some trays that slip in here, and all the poop, they step on the poop and it goes down and it goes on the floor down below. And this one, the one that you can do a 3 foot by 3 foot, we use a 4 foot by 4 foot. You could probably use that for bigger dogs too. You want to get one with a 1/2 inch wire crate. It wants to be a 1/2 inch spacing. If you have a 1 inch, puppy's paws can get stuck through it. So a wire crate, and they're about $250 on Amazon, something like that. 3 foot by 3 foot, okay. 4 foot by 4 foot's better. So we transition to that. So now you can put mum in there with them as well. We put a towel, put it over the corner. So one of the things that you've also got to teach these dogs to do is to hopefully poop in one area, not poop all over the place. So typically if you put a towel in there, they will gather up and sleep on the towel and they won't poop on it. And that's the first step towards potty training these dogs as well. Okay, so what have we got left on this? Now it's time to start thinking about wormings. So typically you want to be worming at 2, 4, 6, 8 every 2 weeks. You want to use Nemex 2 or Panicure to start with. At 6 weeks you can transition to Safeguard or Fendabendazole. You should be doing that. If they're eating each other's poop, you're very likely to have things like Giardia and Coccidia be part of your next problem. So pay attention to those. If you've got some funny metallic smelling poop or some blood, stinges, bit of blood in the poop, it's time to get a flotation test at the vet to diagnose what's going on and give them the right treatment, which is Giardia is metronidazole, or for Coccidia it's Albon, or there's actually a horse medication called, I pronounce it wrong, Tarotazil, which is a really great stuff that we use. But the point here is, this is the time you're likely to see their poop change. It's the time that mum's not going to be cleaning it up. Pay attention to this. You have a dog that starts to get runny diarrhea. That can happen as you get a food change. Canned pumpkin, great for hardening up a stool. If it's a worm situation, got to go treat it. But if it's just a generally loose stool, a little bit of canned pumpkin works wonders. If they can't poop, this is going to happen too. Transition from milk to a more solid food can cause problems where their bowels aren't working properly. An enema, wonderful solution for this. Just some warm water in a syringe that you gently push up their butt will fix enema in most cases. You might even put a little drop of dishwashing soap solution in there as well to kind of make it a bit more slippery. That won't hurt them. Not in the mouth, this is going to go up the butt. So that's something you can do with that. So when we wean, it is not a process where we just simply take them away from mum and they're never with mum again. We do it gradually. Feed them first, put them back with mum. Feed them first, put them back with mum, let them be with mum all night long. Transition from being with mum all night, all day and all night, to being just at night, to being just a few hours in the day, to being nothing at all. So specifically, if you've got a mum that's had enough of it, that is time to be really careful about this and get this done sooner, because you can have mums that start to get jealous of puppies, start to guard their food, and can actually nip a puppy. So it doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. So be aware of this. You do not want to get a bit puppy. If you're finding a puppy that's screaming and you've got a little tinge of blood on it somewhere, suspect that it's been bitten. And most of the times when that happens, it'll just be a bite on an arm or something that's not done any serious damage. And that's the point to pay attention to this and start giving mum relief before it gets to be a problem. And then the other things to watch out for here are dogs that have got flat chests, that need to have their legs tied together at the back because they're not getting up on their back legs. That tends to be the big, I've got cats down here, that tends to be the bigger, fatter puppies in the litter. So I've got a litter on that about taping legs. And also things like, watch out for their ears. It's maybe time you start to tape their ears up. Their ears are flopping down. So I think that's it. There's quite a bit of stuff there. This weaning process, it's fun, but got to pay attention to it because you can get it wrong and you can have bad results. So hopefully that's useful information to you. As always, if we've got things wrong, let us know. We'd really love it if you subscribe to us. If you've got things that you think that we've missed on this, let us know. If you've got other topics that you'd like us to include in future videos, let us know about that too. And remember, the most important thing is be nice to your dogs. Bye, everybody.